Howdy ho, friends and neighbors. Welcome to chapter 5. And today, as soon as I get my notes pulled up here, today we're talking about online sources available to journalists and the best way for them to use them. Now, before we get into it, I want to make sure everyone has seen the video that I posted yesterday afternoon. Anna, did you get it?
Yes, I did.
All right, Terry,
Yes, sir.
Miss Beltran, did you see the video as well?
I did, sir.
Okay. Do y'all have any questions in regards to it? Because I don't want you to think with constraints. I am big on free thinking. I want you to think for yourselves. Use your book to learn facts, but basically a lot of people just, I mean, it was almost like you copied and pasted out of the book for the answers. All right. I don't want you to do that. I want you to think. Use your brain. You got a gift. Use it. I will never, ever penalize anyone for creative thought. If you are looking at a different way to get advertisement or funding for a media outlet, it may be something outlandish, but I'm never gonna fault you for it, because at least you're thinking and realizing that the box doesn't exist. All right. So with that being said, we shall get into chapter 5. Dun, dun, dun. All right. One of the best sources for a journalist to use, simply put, is the internet. It's not that much different from using the telephone, for which all you have to do is know what number to call, what questions to ask, and how to evaluate the information received, and how to use the answers to the questions that you ask. You can ask someone, you can be, there's 2 ways to ask a question, or 3 ways to ask a question: the right way, the wrong way, and the direct way. You can be the douchebag that just says, well, what happened in your marriage that caused you two to split? That's the douchebag way. You can say it the wrong way and really piss somebody off, and they give you a short answer. But if you word it properly, they will open up the floodgates, and they will talk and talk and talk and give you every bit of information that you need. Do you guys understand that? Because, I've done quite a few interviews in my day, and people have been amazed at how well I can get different artists to open up. I've had artists open up about divorces, about losing their spouse, about different things that normally they wouldn't open up about. And I have seen people fall flat on their face in an interview because, okay, several years ago, I don't know if you guys will remember this or not, but when Lady Gaga was big in the music industry, everything started coming out. Oh, she's transgender. Oh, she's transsexual, and all of this. I landed an interview with her. I went to Atlanta. Met up with the tour manager. Tour manager took me out to the bus. He said she's in the back getting ready. And just wait right here. So I was setting my equipment up. She calls out from the back, is this video or audio? I said, no, it's just audio. She said, okay. She comes out, not a stitch of makeup on, bathrobe, towel wrapped around her head, looked like she just got out of the shower. She sits down, and we're talking about the music and the tour and her personal things that she likes to do before every performance and everything. And I'm warming her up. I'm letting her get comfortable with me. Once I felt like she was comfortable with me, I simply asked her, what is your response? Because I've noticed you haven't said anything in regards to the accusations of you being transgender or transsexual. Her answer was longer than the entire allotted time that I had for the interview. She talked for 22 minutes about she doesn't care if you're heterosexual, homosexual, asexual, bisexual. She cares about people. And she just really, really opened up to it. You have to be able to gauge whoever you're interviewing when you're going to hit them with a major question. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah.
Miss Beltran, you good to go with it?
Yes, I am good.
Okay. Wanted to make sure. So, one of the first questions a journalist should always ask his or herself is, who is most likely to have the information that I need? All right. In my case, I was wanting to get the answer to whether or not she was transsexual, transgender, and her response to it. So I knew I had to go to her. Going to one of her friends or her tour manager or one of her band members was not going to do. Now, the AP has a book called Guidelines for Responsible Use of Electronic Services. All right. And in that book, it provides an overview of natural skepticism to which journalists should approach online sources. Now, it says apply the strictest standards of accuracy to anything you find on electronic services. Do not believe everything. Everything on the internet is not true. Oh, it's on the internet. It must be true. No. There is a lot of false crap on the internet. More than one person can share an email address and sponsor a web page, and it can easily be faked. So you have to ask yourself, could this be real? Is this real? Is it fake? Do not publish on a wire service any electronic address without testing it to making sure it's a working address and it's genuine. Apply your usual news judgment. You've got to be careful with your sources. Another source that you have at your disposal is email. You probably spend a little bit, I know because of me, I like to email. It's convenient, it's quick, and it gets to you easily. Email is easy and convenient. Sometimes you may not be able to answer the phone or answer a text message or see somebody in person, which the case we're in now. So email allows both of you to work around your own schedule. Email has become ubiquitous. Some reporters are tempted to use it in place of telephone calls. email should not be used completely solely alone. You've got to combine a personal visit or a personal phone call with email for it to truly, truly be effective. Email interviewing of sources should only be used as a last resort, because you don't know who's typing that on the other end. It may come from that person's email address, but you don't know for certain that it is that person. With a phone call or in person or a video chat, such as we're doing, you know who's on the other end. Email is decidedly one-dimensional because you only get the words on the screen. You don't have voice. You can't tell if someone is saying, well, this is an interesting fact, or, well, that's an interesting fact. Just the difference in my voice inflection tells you how surprised I am by it. The context of what I'm saying and how I pause between well and that. A pause is very, very profound when you're speaking. I can't stand people who get up there. Yes, today is a beautiful day, and the sun is shining, and it is not going to rain, and the birds are chirping, and the grass is green, and the sky is blue, and blah 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 blah. But if I said, yes, today is a beautiful day. The birds are singing. The sky is blue. The grass is green. You know, it adds more emotion, more context. And you can convey that in your writing from your source. So email is good to set up meetings and interviews, but not necessarily good for the interview itself. Another source you have are news groups and forums. I think all three of you that's with me today have signed up. How many of you are in 385 in summer two?
I think I'm in 380.
Multimedia?
Wait, no, I'm in 380 now, I think. I signed up for something. I think it was 385.
Multimedia design?
I think so.
Okay. Terry?
I don't think I'm in multimedia.
Hey, girl,
Yeah, I think I've got another class with Shaw, mass communication.
Okay. Miss Beltran, are you in 385 next semester?
I am not.
Okay. 380 and 385 multimedia design, I'm going to be utilizing a forum. Now, Terry, you're a gamer, aren't you?
I do. I play video games sometimes in my spare
I
time.
just checked. I am in 385.
Do any of y'all ever used forums to find out different levels or different quirks or cheats for games?
Yes.
That's a no.
Well, I'm not the type of one to cheat or do that type of stuff in the video game. Because if I want to, say if I wanted to beat a video game, because, say for instance, okay, so Super Mario Brothers for the NES was the very first ever video game that I ever played as a kid, and is the very first video game that I have ever beaten, because I beat it like last year, surprisingly. I didn't really want, I really didn't want a cheat code to help me beat a game, because that's just not me.
But have you ever used a forum? That's what I'm asking.
No, I haven't. I really haven't used a forum to ever try to beat a video game. I know there are forums for that for Super Mario Brothers to cheat, but I really
Well,
haven't
not
used.
necessarily for a video game. You're missing my point. Have you ever used a forum of any kind?
Oh no.
Okay. In multimedia design, I will be utilizing a forum because in it, I will ask a question on Monday. The students have until Wednesday to respond. Then they have until Saturday to respond to 3 of their classmates' responses. And we'll be using a forum for that. Forums are one way, another way to use as sources. News groups, essentially bulletin boards of emails on a particular topic are being used much, much more than having been largely supplanted by forums, websites that cater to particular interests. Be skeptical of these because a lot of times forums and news groups, for lack of a better term, all that's there is pissing contests. It's people who don't agree. Facebook is quickly becoming one because, especially because we're in the middle of a presidential election, as well as a pandemic. So somebody may post on there that the pandemic is fake. It's all fake, trying to destroy the economy and destroy Trump's credibility. Well, then somebody comments on there, oh, you're full of crap. Then somebody comments on theirs, you're full of crap. And that's what a lot of forums will break down to. It's just basically a pissing contest. I don't suggest using forums as sources for anything. I think forums are a waste of time, but they possibly could be a source. Now, one that you guys may not know about are listservs. Listservs provide another way for journalists to use email. But remember what I said about email. Use it to set up your meeting, but not do the interview. The United States EPA has about 80 listservs on different topics such as toxic waste, air pollution, pesticides. Human Rights Campaign has a listserv with press releases involving gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, equal rights issues. There's several different ones that you can use. Now, these, you're not going to get so many of the Bubba J's responding to it. You're going to get noted scholars. You have to consider the source of the information on listservs as well, but they are run by government agencies and professional organizations, so they are going to slight towards whatever message they are trying to put out. So you have to be careful with it. A growing number of media outlets offer email updates on different topics for their users. A website might allow you to sign up for news about business, technology, and weather, but not get sports. When stories on these topics are posted, you'll get either an email alert or a text alert, and they'll be able to let you know. I'm gonna pause just a second. Any questions thus far?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm
Right.
also good.
You're what?
I'm also good.
You're also good. Damn, I must be doing such a good job then. Oh, All right. So moving on. Now, your web-based sources, email forums, listservs, they can be useful, but again, you have to be careful because you don't know exactly where it's coming from. You can use general reference sources, encyclopedias, dictionary, thesaurus, things like this will come into hand, and periodicals will help as well. Internet-based telephone directories can help you because you might be able to find someone that would be able to help you as well. Now, when you're using online search engines, you have to be careful for Boolean conductors. All right. Now, Boolean conductor is words like and, or, not. They can help you be more specific in your searches. Now, I will tell you this, a lot of search engines today have done away with Boolean conductors or Boolean connectors because Google, the largest search engine there is, you just say, let's say you're looking for a source on Chelsea Clinton. All you got to do is put in her name now, and it pulls up everything about Chelsea Clinton. It also puts it in chronological order. So you want to be careful not to dig too deep into it, because if you do, you're getting into old stuff that is no longer relevant. And this is the issue I have with this is the fact that some reporters will do this and they will dig and dig and dig. And Bill Clinton, say they're researching Bill Clinton. Well, they'll find something from back when Bill Clinton was in college. That's not relevant any longer. Why are you bringing it up? You have to, if you're going to bring up something from his college days, you got to show relevance to today. Does that make sense? You good, Terry?
Yeah, I'm good.
Only reason why I'm calling on
I'm
you
good.
is because the ladies don't have their cameras on, so I can't see their reactions.
I'm
I
good.
can-
I'm good.
I can see yours. All right, moving on. Online journalism sites is another source. Okay. New York Times, Washington Post, the BBC, NPR, Al Jazeera. All right. Neither have so many examples of not so good journalism available. They're available to you, but you have to be the judge of it. That's why I tell people all the time, watch Fox News, watch CNN, and then make your own opinion. Do not listen to just one side. All right. You can find background information or ideas about how a story might be approached. Seeing how one organization covered a certain storyline, you might want to cover it from a different angle. Point in case, the young man that was gunned down over in Georgia. Everybody, I'm sure y'all seen this, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Everybody was trying to look at it from one angle. You have to be able to look at it from both angles. Even though this one is, I'm sorry, I don't know how y'all feel about it. This is my own opinion. Them two men are going to die in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think the death penalty will affect it because they will be taken out because of what they did was so heinous.
Yeah.
And the third guy probably will too because he filmed it. And it just, that's a story that you have to be extremely cautious with because it does have racial implications. And you have to be careful with it, sadly. In this day and time, I could not write a story that is going to show a negative light on an African American. Same point, unfortunately, an African American cannot do the same on a white person. People see color, and I wish they would stop because there's absolutely no difference in any of us. There's no difference in us being white, black, brown, green, yellow, pink with purple polka dots. I don't care what color you are. We're all equal. Nobody is better than anybody else. Nobody is beneath anybody else. You know, somebody asked me, now I'm getting off a little bit on tangent here, but somebody asked me once because I have a skull ring that I usually wear because I ride motorcycles. And somebody asked me and said, well, why do you ride motorcycle? Or why do you wear skulls so much? I got a skull on my shirt today. And I said, because a skull reminds you that underneath it all, underneath the skin, underneath everything, we're all the same. It don't matter what your skin is. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care. We're all equal. You respect me, I respect you, and we move on. Am I right or wrong here?
You're right.
I agree.
I also agree.
Moving on. Sorry about that little sidetrack there.
Oh no, you're fine.
The story about the guy in Georgia is just awful.
It is. And I mean, they're saying, oh, well, we thought he was robbing someplace. There's video proof of him. Now, yeah, he walked into the house that's being constructed. Who hasn't? I've done it. I couldn't tell you how many times. Walked in. I want to see what the floor plan is going to look like. Because it might give me an idea of something to do in my own home. Didn't take a thing. Turned around. Went out. And that's when they went after him. And
Yeah.
all I got to say, they better be glad they didn't come after me because in situations like that, I'm at school right now, so I don't have it. But normally, I ain't going to lie, I've got my piece on my side. We are all equal, but you pull a gun on me, you better know Jesus personally because you're about to meet him. Moving on. Now, you can get into searching the deep web or the dark web. I do not suggest this to anyone. There's a lot of nasty stuff on the dark web. Standard search engines can't see stuff. Can't see audio, video, multimedia files on the dark web because of the way they're hidden. There are some search engines that are delving into the dark web. If you do this, be extremely cautious because there is malware that will destroy your computer. And just logging into the dark web puts you on a government watch list. Were you aware of that? Bet you weren't.
What do you mean by like dark web? I mean, like I know there's a lot of content out there, but like, are we talking about a specific website or?
There is, well, not necessarily just a specific website, but how much of the internet do you think you see on average?
I mean, on average, not much, but like as far as falling down internet wormholes and seeing like random stuff that I probably shouldn't have, it happens. Yeah.
You know, the average consumer only sees less than 1% of the internet.
Yeah, I'm not shocked.
And the internet as a whole, unless you know where to look, you can't get to half of it.
Yeah.
And that is part of the dark web. There are people on YouTube now that are buying boxes off of the dark web that contain different things. And the black market has moved into the internet. You can go buy a kidney. You can go buy a heart. Yes, sir.
Okay, I got one question. So, you know, when you look at something like on a search engine, say like Google, Yahoo, or something like that, and down on the screen, when you see like, okay, so you're like on page 1 of the search engine, and then you move on to like more of the other pages on that search engine. Would those be considered, you know, just on the dark web?
The dark web is not going to show up on Google, Bing, Yahoo, search engines like that.
Okay, so there are
So I
websites that
can't
don't show
Google
up.
how to buy a kidney.
Do what?
So I can't Google how to buy a kidney.
Oh, you just ain't going to find nothing. This is
Dang.
where the dark web primarily consists of forums, like we were talking about before. And in these forums, people will place coded ads. You can hire somebody to kill somebody off of the dark web. You can hire mercenaries off of the dark web. It's just you have to know where to go. You know how when you type in a web address and you go to youtube.com and you pull up a YouTube video. Well, at the end of that, it still says youtube.com, but it's got like /F48J7943 /718 and all this crap behind it. You have to know that specific URL in which to get into it. You have to find the gateway into the dark web. And I'm teaching y'all too much about the dark web. Stay away from it.
Yeah, I'll say I don't know that much.
As Mr. Garrison from South Park said, it's bad, okay? Now, when you have to evaluate your sources. We've already learned that evaluating the source of information found on the internet is particularly important. In order to do this, there are here's a little bit of a guideline for you to go by. Does it seem truthful? Is it relevant to my story? Does the source have an ulterior motive, a particular point of view that affects what he or she said? You can't, good example, you can't have take a quote from a non-gun owner about the Second Amendment when it's referring to firearms. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Because if that person owned a firearm, then their own opinion of firearms would be different. All right. I don't know how you guys feel about the Second Amendment. Some people feel that it needs to be repealed, that citizens should not own weapons at all. Some people feel like they should ban assault rifles. And you will hear senators talk about, yes, we have to ban fully automatic assault rifles. Well, here's the problem with that. Fully automatic assault rifles were banned back in the 90s. They don't exist. As far as to purchase, they do exist because people will buy a semi-automatic weapon and go into the gun, change their trigger, and make it into a fully automatic weapon. But fully automatic weapons are illegal. The difference is fully automatic, you pull the trigger, and it's pop, 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 pop. Semi-automatic, you have to pull the trigger for every shot. Pop, 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 pop. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Because several senators are saying, "Oh, we've got to ban fully automatic assault weapons." There was, I can't remember her name, a senator said, "Yes, I've held one of these AR-15s, and they're extremely heavy and they're boxy and they're fully automatic and they use a high caliber round. Every single bit of that is false. Number one, my personal AR-15 doesn't even weigh 2 pounds. It weighs less than 2 pounds. Number two, it's not a high caliber weapon because my AR-15 shoots a 9mm round, the exact same ammo that my pistol shoots. And it's not fully automatic. So make sure you're quoting fact in your research. Because if you say, yes, the man who robbed the convenience store had a fully automatic pistol in which he shot the clerk 7 times. Okay. Fully automatic pistols do exist, but was the weapon used in the crime a fully automatic weapon? If he had to constantly pull the trigger, no, it's not. If he pulled the trigger once and it put out a blast of bullets, yes, it is. So make sure you have your facts 100% straight. Because if as soon as you say that, and then you release the type of gun that it is, then there's going to be gun owners that are going to question you about it. And you have to be able to defend it. Also, social searches, Twitter, socialmention.com, which is a decent source. They're okay. You get to see real-time discussions from various social networks. And then Same Point tracks the conversations happening in social networks. Oftentimes, it'll be shared as a report or a PDF, so that way you can use it. Location-based searches, Foursquare. How many of you, anybody ever use Foursquare?
I've never used it.
Foursquare is not too bad.
I don't think I've used it. It sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Well, you know how you go on Facebook and say you're going to a fancy restaurant and you check in at Spago's. I can go on Foursquare and type in Anna Marker check-in, and it'll show me, oh, you just checked in to Spago. And it's a way to track someone, because, like I said, this right here is your electronic leash. People know where you're at all the time. All right. So you got to be careful. Now I got to move over here because I didn't get all of my notes for today. All right. So, activities. Dun, dun, dun. Here's your question for today. Think about some of your current story ideas in terms of what information you might be able to find on the internet. What kinds of information are you looking for? And how might you find it online? Try to find at least 3 relevant sources for your story. And how have you evaluated these sources? Okay. Now, it says to do multiple stories. I only want you guys to do one. Pick one story in national headlines. Please don't do the coronavirus. I'm sick of seeing it. I'm sick and tired of Corona. I want my live music back.
I'm pretty sure everybody wants that back.
I'm to the point now. I'm like, look, open it up. If you're scared to go out, keep your ass at home. I mean, am I right or wrong? Y'all tell me.
It's
I'm
true.
not-
I'm kind of tired of seeing the news.
I mean, Billy, I'm agreeing with you, man, because I think all of us are tired of being at home for once, because, the only time I can really go outside is really outside, upstairs on the deck. So I gotta agree with you for once.
For once, you better be agreeing with me. But no, I'm just, I'm over Corona. I'm tired of it. I'm actually over all of 2020. I mean, we started the year off with rain. Then we've got into coronavirus. Now we got murder hornets. Next thing you know, Cthulhu.
Don't forget Kobe's death, by the way.
Kobe, the legend, passed away. Losing too many musicians. And next thing you know, Cthulhu's going to come out of the ocean and eat everybody. And then the Browns will win the Super Bowl. Sorry, I had to throw that in because the Browns suck.
So
We got
about
Joe Burrow. I don't care. You still suck.
Yeah, like that's gonna help.
So
It takes
about our
11.
assignment.
Hey, what?
Okay, so about our assignment, like we just pick a story to do that's like current, right? We just pick anything, or
Yep.
sweet.
Let's see. Hang on.
Just to let you know,
I'm going to help you out here. Go ahead.
on the assignments tab, it's showing that we were supposed to do 5.2, just to let you know.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, crap. I guess I did pick that one. I looked at the wrong one. I am sorry, guys. Okay, so hopefully everybody is still going to be watching this. Consider this URL, move on. That's right, because this was the move on thing. moveon.org/volunteer photos, blah, blah, blah. First, isolate the URL. So, in this, what you're going to do is you're going to give me the URL, the top level domain. All right. Then, see if we can find out who owns it by using enter NIC. And tell me the telephone number and the contact owner's site. All right. And I will give y'all another little useful tidbit that you can use. Whois.com. Because I'll tell you this quick.
Did you say who is?
Who is?
Okay.
Give me just 1 second. It is where you at? There you are. We're gonna go. John. Copy you. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back over to him. And we're gonna go share screen. Here we go. Now we get to have some fun. Chrome tab. And share. Okay, now you guys see this website up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So right here, we already got it in here. We got moveon.org. Who is? And you can actually find some information here. You're not going to find all, but you'll find some. All right.
Yes.
And you can do that. You can do that with any website. Now, here's the thing, though. I'll show you this right quick. Let's go right here. WLJS 919. Campus radio station, right? Here's the thing, though. Shows you right here that we build our website in WordPress. But register contact. Knock knock, who is not there? LLC. Because we have the ownership listed as private. So that way, we don't have to.
So just to
All right.
clarify, we don't have to do the story assignment. We do this
Not
one.
the story
instead.
one. Sorry. Go by what is on Canvas.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay, so we do 5.2.
5.2.
Okay.
5.2. 5.2. 2.
All right.
All right. Sound good?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. And everybody got
Yes,
the
sir.
video that I extended assignments 2, 3, and 4 because I want you guys to open up your brain. Think. Give me
Do we
some
have to redo-
creativity. Huh?
Do you want us to redo them?
You don't have to completely redo them. But I want
Just update
your
them.
thoughts.
I honestly can't remember what I wrote.
I'm trying to free your brain. You have been constrained your whole life. It's time to open it up. Let it shine.
I have a
Create.
quick question.
I have a quick answer.
So on 4.1, it talked about visiting different websites. Like I visited like a couple and like none of them made me have like a plugin. Is that okay? Or do I need to find one that actually has a plugin?
No, because you don't have to, because I will tell you, I'll tell you the same thing I think I told Anna a while ago. A lot of websites now don't require them because the book is a few years old. And when the book was put out, plugins were necessary. However, today, a lot of plugins are not. Some do require Shockwave because they're older sites. And Shockwave is an older plugin. But most of the time, what it's gearing towards is like streaming, iTunes, Spotify. Let's look at music. Streaming services like iTunes, Apple Music, whatever you want to call it. I'm old. I still call it iTunes, okay? Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora. A few years back, when they were first starting, you had to download a plugin called Shockwave that would allow it to play. Today, those plugins are built into their software. And remember, we were talking about push-pull? Because before, when
Yes, sir.
Spotify, Pandora, all of these streaming services for music, when they first started, it was pull technology. You were pulling it. Today, they have changed from pull technology to push technology. They're pushing the music to you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because even though you're going on and you're picking up your phone and saying, "Oh, I need to listen to some Taylor Swift," how you would do that, I don't know. You need to be committed. By the way, if y'all haven't realized yet, I hate Taylor Swift.
I don't even listen to Taylor Swift.
But you go on and you say, "I need to listen to," well, right now I've got, let me back it up a little. Killswitch Engage, one of my favorite bands, pulled up. And I hit play. Well, you think that you're pulling that song to you, but in all reality, they are pushing this song to you. And if you go on, this is a cool little feature. Let me cut my messenger off. On Apple Music, down here at the bottom, you've got radio, right? Anybody ever use the radio feature? You put in one song, and then it's going to play a multitude of songs that are similar style and similar genre. And it's pushing those songs to you. Fun fact, do you know how a single artist, solo artist, like Bruno Mars or whoever, to make $1,000 off of Spotify, do you know how many streams they have to have?
Let me think, because there's some artists that I know who do have a lot of Spotify streams.
$1,000 to make it $1,000. You have to have 3 million streams.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Tell me that ain't price gouging. All right, guys. If there's not any more questions, I'm hungry. It's lunchtime.
I feel that.
Any other questions, comments?
No, sir. I'm good.
I will not start grading until Saturday. So you guys have until Friday night to get 2, 3, and 4 updated. And
Okay.
I will grade 2, 3, and 4 on Saturday. And probably Sunday. I forgot I'll get them all done.
Gotcha.
All right. And then 5 is due on Monday. All right.
Yes, sir.
Everybody
Sounds good.
have a great weekend. Let's see. Let's see what the weather's going to be like real quick. See if it's going to suck.
We now turn
I
over
think it's
to
supposed to storm.
Oh, shoot.
we now turn things over to Billy Ramsey with today's forecast.
It's going to rain. Like, you Family Guy fans, you will know what I'm talking about. Oh, crap.
Ali, the news guy.
Saturday, it might be raining sideways. Yeah, it's
I
going
just
to be.
like how every episode that they show him in, like it's just mad fast, and he just had, like it's like, still Yale Lois.
Not everyone, when he went to Colorado, is like, nope. Yeah. It's all good. Gee, wonder what Ollie was doing in Colorado. All right, guys. Everybody have a good weekend. Be safe. Don't forget social distancing. Wash your hands. Have a great weekend, guys.
You too.
You too, man. Peace.